Song for a Whale, the author's note. Whale communication and the 52 Hertz whale. The whale in this novel is fictitious, but is based on the real 52 Hertz whale, also known as the loneliest whale in the world, and 52 Blue. As of writing this, no one has met him, and he does not wear a tracker. He is known only because of his unusual song. Some marine biologists hypothesize that he is either malformed in some way or is a hybrid of two species of whale. When I learned about the 52 Hertz whale, I wondered about what life was like for a whale that sang like no other, and wished I could find out how he was doing. Maybe one day someone will track down the 52 Hertz whale and we'll learn more about him and why he sings the way he does. For this story, the whale is made up of the few characteristics we know for certain about 52 Blue, plus my own imagination and what I learned from researching whales. But I also gave him a different identity. By fictionalizing the whale, I had the freedom to create his story, physical description, and song pattern. I chose the 55 Hz frequency since it's close to the real whale sound and because the repeated 5 in his name ties in with the sign language poetry in the story. Blue 55 is a hybrid of blue and fin whale, the world's two largest whale species. Though hybrid whales are rare, these two baleen whales are closely related enough to reproduce, and there have been a few known bluefin whales. We are able to hear the song of 52 Blue and all whales because of underwater microphones, or also known as hydrophones. A hydrophone system originally used in the US military to detect enemy submarines was made available to marine biologists in the late 1980s. By using the equipment to listen to whale songs, scientists can identify and track species of whales in the oceans. In 1989, scientist William Watkins of Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution noticed one whale song in the North Pacific Ocean that didn't sound like any other. In some ways, the song sounded like those of blue and fin whales, with short and frequent calls, but the frequency was much higher, 52 hertz instead of the normal 15 to 25 hertz. For humans, it's a low sound, like the lowest note a tuba can play, but it's a high one for a blue and fin whale. The song would continue sometimes for hours before stopping as abruptly as it had started. For the next 12 years, Watkins and his team recorded the extraordinary song from fall to late winter when the whales swam out of range of the hydrophones. In addition to having a unique song, this whale has an unusual migration route. While most whales visit the same areas each year, the 52 Hertz whale's path varies from one year to the next. Some years he travels much farther north or west than others, and at times he has meandering routes wandering up and down the Pacific coast. He can swim up to 42 miles a day, and the presence or absence of other whales doesn't seem to affect where he travels. Of course, it's impossible to know whether or not 52 Blue is actually a lonely whale. Another scientist who has recorded him, whale communication expert Christopher Clark of Cornell University, said in 2015 in a BBC interview, the animal's singing with a lot of the same features of a typical blue whale song. Blue whales, fin whales, and humpback whales. All these whales can hear this guy. They're not deaf. He's just old. Dr. Clark also points out that other unusual whale calls have been recorded, and some whale populations have their own regional dialects. Though the WHOI researchers found that the 52 hertz song was coming from only one source, more recent recordings suggest that there could be more than one whale calling at that frequency. Data from John Hildebrand of the Scripps Institution of Oceanography shows similar calls off the California coast in locations too far apart to have come from the same animal. Perhaps there is a small population of whales who sing at this high frequency. The song of the 52 hertz whale has changed over the years, steadily growing lower, whether from ocean noise or his own maturity or some other reason. He now sings at a frequency of about 47 hertz. He isn't alone in changing his song. Some whale species, like humpbacks and bowheads, and add new verses to their songs each season, sometimes picking up parts of songs from other groups of whales that they encounter. Perhaps the musical complexity makes them more desirable to potential mates, or perhaps they just enjoy singing new songs. Some whale communication changes out of necessity. Noise pollution in the ocean has led some whales to change their songs over time. With constant ship traffic and oil drilling, the ocean is far noisier than it used to be. Much like people talking loudly to be, to be heard in a noisy room, the whales have to adjust their sound to hear one another over the other noise in the ocean. We might never know what the whales are saying, but we can keep listening.